Good morning, everyone. We're going simultaneously live on YouTube and Clubhouse. And very warm welcome to all of you. This is a guided venture to be online at 7:30 sharp, and I have no idea why this particular time. Maybe somebody is looking for this time. And we'll extend it till 8:15, hopefully, and so that people can join from the premium members group also. Today, we're going to talk about our sensitivity to judgment, criticisms, and others' opinion. I think that rules our life so much that we often become stuck, paralyzed, and handicapped in a literal sense. We do not move forward out of fear of being judged adversely or out of fear of getting adverse opinion or disapproval from others. I was listening to some of the panel discussion amongst industrialists, and they had an opinion that it's more common in India because we are brought up, at least our generation and a generation a little later than that, they were all brought up with an intense pressure to please seniors, including teachers, parents, and everyone. And there's so much of pressure to be in good book of everyone because the survival and existence perhaps dependent on that. And slowly we didn't even realize how we became so much conscious of our need to be in good book of everyone that we just cannot handle anybody criticizing, judging adversely, or talking anything against us. It spoils our day. It makes us feel terrible to just know that somebody passed a negative remark or had negative judgment, which they have, of course, a right to do that. And yet we perhaps do not want anyone to go through that. So can we stop really people from passing adverse remarks, judgments? Can we really control people around us to make sure that they always remain in approval? They never say anything against us. They never criticize us. They never judge. I think it's practically not possible. And yet we often, very often, expect people. We often try to control, and then we try to excel and perfect ourselves so much that nobody ever can judge us adversely. And that becomes a kind of a stress for all of us, especially people who are in a profession where others' judgment is very important. Rather than taking their opinion as merely a feedback, which can be constructively used to better ourselves, we often take it very, very personal. And it can spoil our day, it can spoil our days, weeks, months, years, and even lifetime. One such comment, and probably you could be in for very difficult lifetime because now you want to make sure that you never allow anybody to pass similar comment and make sure that you always conduct yourself, appear in a better way, or you perform to your level best so that you never give an opportunity to anyone to ridicule you, to pass any comments, pass any judgments. Always be in good book. And the more you try, the more you give options to others, opportunities to others to pass adverse remarks, adverse comments, and adverse judgments. Today, I open up this discussion to share your conversation and tell me how you've been affected by it was remarks and judgments, how your life is ruled by what had happened or one such remark. Do you remember that? I can share my experience, okay? So my daughters were in Panchgini Convent, the elder one and the younger one. And as parents, we can write a letter to them and meet them once in a month. So as you write a letter, first the letter goes to the nuns and the school authorities, and then that letter reaches my daughters. So once my younger one commented that, Mom, you should be careful about the language that you use. There are so many spelling and grammar mistakes. And it's pretty embarrassing for us because it comes to the nuns and, they judge you based on that. And I realized I didn't take it so seriously. I know with my handicap of dyslexia, which I use pretty often, that's not always the excuse, but at that time it was. And coming from a vernacular medium, probably my English was not as expected by convent standard. And I realized, 3 or 6 months down, I think she complained saying, everyone's parents write letters and I never get letters from you. And she was really upset about it. And then I kind of introspected, what happened? Why did I not write a letter? Did I not write a letter because of my lack of time or availability? I said, no, I can always fetch out some time to write a letter to my daughters. Yeah, come on, they deserve that. So why did I not do that? And then when I worked on myself a little bit, introspected, then I realized it was that anxiety of letting them down or them feeling judged by their teachers because of me, which made me curtail myself and not write a letter to them for days. And I realized that the repercussions were not so happy because they did feel deprived. They did feel let down because everyone would get letters from their family members and mothers, and they were not getting one from me. And that was something that kind of was an eye-opener. And that also changed my life. I said, I'm not going to bother too much about spellings and language. If I need to reach out to my loved ones, doesn't matter if I'm loved, ridiculed, or judged, I'm going to write. There's also an inner child related to this. I remember I was with my aunt's place and my cousins were reading every line my mother had wrote. I was young, 4 years. In those days, there were no emails, so only letters were written. My mother coming from village, writing in Gujarati. And, some of the words were not typical sophisticated Gujarati, perhaps. I don't even remember what she wrote. But I remember my cousins laughing over my mother's letter and making a fun out of it. Probably they didn't mean, they love my mother. They didn't even mean to ridicule her, but I, as a daughter, did not like the whole scene at that time. And that remained so ingrained in me that I became very conscious about writing letters, because every time I write, I can see my cousin's face and the whole family doing ha 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 and laughter. And that remained. Of course, I'm sure I'm not the only one. Now, probably a lot of you have gone through that, right? So let's share that today. Yes, Monideepa, I see your hand raised.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, actually, I want to share one thing. It has
You
been
have
long.
speak, Monideepa.
Yeah, I'm speaking. I'm unmuted, ma'am. Can you hear
Just a
me?
second. Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Ambika. Meanwhile, Monideepa, just see your settings and come back again. Meanwhile, I'll speak to Ambika.
Okay.
Good morning, Atman.
Hello?
Good
Is it
morning,
my
Atman.
end?
Can you hear me?
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, got it. Please.
Good morning, Atman. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well now.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
Uh,
morning.
just before you could share your experience, you said that
Huh.
there are sometimes a profession demands us to be perfect, and sometimes the judgments, the criticism is not taken in the right spirit. Being in my profession where applause and people's reactions count a lot and says a lot about our performance. When I was in college, somewhere I realized when people used to judge a movie hit or flop, uh, irrespective to their judgments, I started watching movies. I remember one particular movie of Urmila Matondkar. People said, please don't go and watch. It's a super flop. And पता नहीं क्यों रामगोपाल वर्मा ने ऐसी फ्लॉप पिक्चर बनाई and what fun he is getting. I went with a perspective of finally it's an art and person has put in his labor and his creativity. Let me go and watch it. And I loved the movie. And somewhere my perspective of looking at life changed there. And I said that if a person is investing time, energy, creativity, and is performing that person's attitude of presenting the art, I think we should watch it without being judgmental, or even if you hear people's criticism or appreciation, people have appreciated certain movies, but they have been flop, irrespective of the box office collection. I started watching it, and what I realized now when this class was happening, I have been getting projects without getting auditioned, without people judging me, without people judging my capabilities, without people having questions whether I would be able to perform or not. Now I realize why all the projects I got it without screen test, auditions, or being judged. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Most welcome. Yeah, I'm coming to the
Yeah.
next, which Ambika has just highlighted. I'll put it in the right perspective. However, let's listen to Monideepa first.
Yeah, good morning, ma'am. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, this is I don't know why I am sharing this. This is a incident long back. I was doing my inter ISC. No, finished my ISC, and then I was doing my graduation first year in zoology honors.
Mhm.
And then on first year, just before the exam, I got married, and due to some reasons, my exams were not so good, and I failed in one subject, like on zoology only, and no, two subjects. So, okay, so there is an option that we can promote it to second year, but we have to clear the earlier one, the
Mhm.
first year. So after coming back from my from my in-laws, so I went to that. I was so scared because in my life I have never failed. Okay, and my father is a very renowned doctor in my city. Everyone knows him,
Oh.
his name. So
Mm.
his name was written there. My parents in
Okay.
the
From my
in-laws. So
Mhm.
when I was filling the form that for the clearance for the exam, so one teacher saw the name and then she said, "Oh, you are this person daughter, and you have failed two subjects." And there was a big line, and so many people were there. I didn't know that. Maybe none have noticed it, but I felt so embarrassing that I just drop out.
I know, I can imagine.
I left the exam, not only the exam, I left the subject.
Oh.
I just I didn't I didn't go to the college again, and then I cleared my graduation after 4 years, and that is also in arts.
Mhm.
So just I share it to you.
Yeah,
And the pain is still there.
and the pain is still there, right? Yeah. Now, where does all these things come from? I mean, the discussion is open. I'm not the only one who's going to have a monologue. What do you think this comes from? Where does it come from?
Don't know, maybe from childhood, some also when I was doing good that time also somebody in my relatives or someone, now I'm remembering that some relatives told me, Acha, you have become second. Your father always used to become first in his class. So I think that I started from there, or was always I was compared to my dad, and now I'm nothing with my in compared to him. And sometimes, I don't want to mention his name also.
Yes, I know it's
His
so sad.
daughter I am.
Yeah, interesting.
Uh,
What's the sisters, siblings of star children, you know? If one sibling is doing very well in the school, somehow the whole school management would kind of point out to the siblings who are not doing well. See your brother, see your sister, how good she is. Why can't you be that way? Anyway, we're not here to point fingers at the systems because we cannot change systems, isn't it?
Yeah.
Monica?
Yes.
Atman,
Yes.
so even I've gone through all this, whatever, but I've realized that what was lacking in me was the self knowledge. When you don't know yourself, you look at others for you know you look at others' judgments and you gauge yourself through them. So that has helped me a bit. But still, actually, just 2 days back in the office, I was laughing in the office, looking at some work only. And the boss came, and the main guy who didn't know me came and started saying, "Why you're laughing?" So
Oh,
I got a little upset because immediately he thought I was probably enjoying myself, but which is also okay. But I was just actually enjoying a design. I'm into design, so it did upset me, rattle me for some time. But I could see the effect on me that I was trying to justify myself or whatever. But then I stopped, obviously. But yeah,
yeah,
I mean, even though you know what you're doing, people's judgments do rattle you.
completely. Yeah, to a certain extent, they do. Now, how long do you hold on to that? That's important. Some people hold on to it for the lifetime. Some people just hold on to it for a few seconds, minutes, hours, days, right? Okay. Yeah, Ambika, your Monitepa still the hands are raised. So is there anything you'd like to
Yes,
contribute to?
Atman. Yeah.
Yes.
So coming back to you said, from where does it come from? So in my childhood, my father is a priest, Brahmin. He performs puja and shraddh and weddings and all. So we were in our society, there were three wings, A, B, and C, and most of them were Konkani speaking, like Saraswat Brahmins.
Mhm.
We would be related to each other in some way or the other, like our
Mhm.
community. And because I belong to a priest family, though everyone was Saraswat Konkani, but I
Mhm.
was born to a priest.
Mm.
When I used to go to play, if at all I would wear Western clothes, I would be immediately pointed. अरे तू तो भज्जी की लड़की है, तूने कैसे ये फ्रॉक पहना? And
Yeah.
so I couldn't understand why I was pointed out amongst all the other girls who speak the same language or believe in the same God, or we all are Konkanis. We are related to each other in some way or the other. So the understanding of community or the classification of how people treat with people belonging to different profession was not clear at that age for me. But
Completely.
but I was like, भटजी की लड़की हूं तो क्या हुआ? That question was always there. Then, because my parents were born in Karnataka and they studied in Kannada school, They were not good in English, but they made a point to put me and my brother in a convent school. Again, we were sometimes taunted. Uh, Being a priest's child, you are going to a convent school. They never had the courage to put up to my father, because my father is the number one priest in our community. He is very respected, and he is a very disciplined and a very self-made man. They never asked him, why did you put your child to a convent school? But they used to ask us, how can you go to a convent school? Your father performs Satyanarayan Puja and weddings and all those religious things. I didn't have answer, but my brother was quite smart. My brother is elder to me, and he used to handle it in a different way, and I handled different way. And somehow I thought, why put a person in a position where that person is suffocated and has no answers? Probably has no answers because that person feels this is okay to be like this. And probably that changed my perspective of looking things at later in life, and that's how it made me a complete different person. And if there are, even today, if I'm in a room where people are gossiping and judging and criticizing, I just happen to walk out of that room very, very casually, as a matter of fact, like, okay, they are comfortable doing that, I'm not, so let me just, without commenting anything, let me just walk away from it. But I somewhere feel that it starts very young.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so very few people would be lucky enough to come out of that thing and be okay with it,
Yeah.
and not hold. But yeah, definitely the pain is very deep, and the feeling of uh, being a victim for a certain while. uh, it took me a while to come out of it, to understand why is it related that I am a priest's daughter, so I can't do. I so for a long time I couldn't speak English. I used to get really bad marks in English because somewhere I thought, no, I'm a priest's daughter, I'm not supposed to know English, I'm not supposed to be good at it. Yeah, but eventually, I don't know, I have always been a blessed child. I have always been the odd one out, and I was taken care really well by the uh, universal supreme power or energy or God or whatever we say.
So beautiful. It's so fortunate that you could get out and get over this very fast. Otherwise, it can become a big handicap at times. Right. Then, so here I see the comments. My mother's judgment seems to be final. It took me a lot to break from that, says Chandrika. Thank you, Chandrika. And Nandini says, I couldn't defend my right actions. In a society meeting, I was accused of being brash. I wanted the matter to end, not take it forward. So I kept quiet. But that comment upsets me. Yeah, I understand. All right. Thank you for contributing. I'm just looking at the YouTube chat as well. Just a sec. Right. So let's kind of take it forward. I had a girl and I was encouraging her to speak in public, and she wouldn't. And I wonder why she was not doing. And she said, no, I'm waiting for my skin to look a little better, my hair to look a little more organized. I need to have a proper haircut. I need to have this. I said, people, you think all this will matter because you have so much with you to share with public and you should do it. She said, no, I'm very sensitive to what people say. And I happened to observe her for a few days, and I realized that in her own circle, she's pretty judgmental and full of criticism and laughter for others. One of the reasons why you are very, very sensitive to people's judgment Criticism and laughter perhaps is you do the same. And when you do the same, you know that you can also invite. If you move around in a circle where judging others is a common habit, you know, uh, so we call it panchayat, like kind of discussing people behind their back all the time, good and bad, our observations, and coming to certain conclusion, and then making a joke out of it and sharing to people, other people who really doesn't matter, and there's no reason, just for time pass. If we have such habit, and if you have done that to others in the past, there's all the more possible reason why you would feel really cautious about being subjected to the similar attitude. So first of all, forgive yourself for judging others. If you want to stop being judged and you want to rise beyond the fear of being judged, because if you have a guilt of judging others, you're more likely to invite others to judge you. Secondly, think how you have grown because of others' judgment. So if others' judgment, criticism, comparison, poor remarks have helped you grow, probably you would invite a similar situation. And third, please do not think that you can control others. People will judge, okay, because it's part of their nature. You also judge. You may not say, but you have a way of judging. It's okay. Rather than controlling them or yourself or avoiding the possibility of being judged, learn to desensitize yourself or reduce your sensitivity so that you can rise beyond their adverse remarks or judgments or opinions and still pay more attention to who you are, what you want, and where you want to move forward. If your focus is on yourself, you can easily do that. And fourth, which I found myself, I realized that I may not be the best. I may not be the most amazing person. However, if I love what I do, and I love people for whom I do, and contribute, my love for them will help me come up to their expectations. And it's okay, even if they judge, it's okay. Even if they reject, it's okay. Even if they do not approve of what I do, but let my love reach out to everyone. And I need not be best. I need not be the most amazing person, but I would have the fulfillment of doing what I love and loving what I do and loving people whom I contribute to and getting their love back from people who feel contributed. And that's how I cracked my sensitivity to people's judgment and opinion. Okay, having said that, it takes a while before you start feeling that love within your heart. So there are beautiful radical statements and there are beautiful, radical techniques that you can use to reduce your sensitivity. And we shall have the group recitation tomorrow at 7:30 on that. Okay, so join me for the group recitation, and the link remains the same. You can invite your friends and relatives. However, just give them this background, give them the background of this YouTube link so that they're prepared. That's all for today. You can hang around. I'm just disconnecting the YouTube right now, and later we can continue with members meet. I think we'll continue with the members meet. premium members meet at, it's 8 a.m. sharp. I'm restarting the meet only for premium members. Thank you so much.